Here's the #1 pre-approval mistake that's costing buyers their dream home. I'm Nick Baronian, Personal Real Estate Corporation. Welcome to episode 1, the importance of a true pre-approval. So today we have a fantastic episode with Amar Dhillon, a mortgage specialist for over 20 years and has a wide breadth of experience. We'll be discussing the importance of a true pre-approval. What is a true pre-approval? Who can give it to you and how does it work? Let's step outside to my outdoor office and let's meet Amar Dhillon. So we're here with Amar Dhillon, a representative of an A lender. Amar and I have worked on multiple deals together over the years. Amar, I wanted to kind of get your perspective on first of all, what are you seeing in the lending field this year, as from January 2026 to May, where we are now? What's the landscape?
It's been slow. Obviously, you know, with all the tariff wars, the war in the East and all that, and the oil wars. Clients are, well, consumers are a bit worried, right? And it all comes down to job security as well, right? So, you know, whenever someone sees a lot of uncertainty, they hesitate. And that's what we're seeing. However, as the year's gone on, there's been some positives, and I'm assuming you've seen that on your side as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to, especially over the last 2 months. I'm starting to see more stability. I don't know if that's indicative of what's to come, but we are starting to see more stability for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to come. It's just going to take time until people start realizing, you know, obviously people are looking at price points. Price points have dropped. Obviously, you know, sellers are a bit sticky on moving the dial, and buyers have all the power right now.
Yeah, across the lower mainland,
So,
for sure.
But we're still seeing some movement. It's not a normal cycle, but it's heading toward a normal cycle, unless something else goes sideways. Right, or something else.
Know.
Right, like with Trump, you just don't know.
You never know, man. Something different is happening. It seems like every month and a half, 2 months, like there's some sort of news that comes out that totally kind of throws a wrench in plans. Right?
Absolutely.
So, 2026 is a big renewal year, I think, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah? It's one of the big renewal years, yes. Okay. And then you'll see it kind of creep into next year as well.
Okay. Yeah. So it should slow down on the renewal side by like what, mid 2027?
Yeah, mid to
third quarter.
Yeah, third quarter at least. You'll see it slowing down. Everything going to normalizing on that front. Okay. You know what I see is a lot of people starting to refinance to kind of get their credit in order, if they're deciding to make that move.
Right.
Obviously, some people are in a condo where they're pushed out. Okay. You know, they're preparing themselves. Maybe they have a chance now to move up into either a larger condo or a townhouse, or even jump that big one to a single detached, right?
Single family, for sure. There's always opportunities. In slower markets, we see those opportunities if you have your ducks in a row, where you are able to upgrade into that bigger space. And that's, you know better than anybody, it's because the gap in price shrinks. And so those opportunities are there. I wanted to talk to you about the pre-approval process and your perspective on how that works and what the advantages are of getting the pre-approval done directly from an A lender like yourself.
Well, when you look at a pre-approval, it's not what it used to be. Let's just go pre-COVID. Back then, it wasn't as busy as it was. It was a shock. Let's just put it like, COVID was a shock.
Well, for sure.
It was a shock to everyone.
I always say, if there's one thing COVID taught me, it's I can't predict anything. Predictability's out the window. Right? So
it is, for sure. And during that time, you know, no one predicted that it's going to be that heated of a market. For sure. And obviously, institutions weren't prepared for that. Okay. Now, before that, when we did pre-approvals, we actually did almost like a full application where you go through the whole income stream and you look at exceptions, if obviously everyone has exceptions in their files to the policy. Now it's more so of they look at your income and within the ratio, the guideline. They don't look at the exception right away. They'll look at the exception piece when you're on a live file, when you have an offer to purchase.
An accepted offer on the table, that's when it becomes a live file and the real approval process kind of begins.
Yeah.
Between you and I, we've worked with multiple clients. You've gotten multiple people approved for me, which I thank you for. Thank you so much. What kind of advantages does a potential buyer have when they go directly to you, as let's say, as opposed to, I don't know, a private broker, for example?
I think it's more hands-on. Okay, so think about your brokerage. You have the whole back end hands-on. You can go to someone if you need something right away. Same thing when you look at an A-lenders for myself or anyone that's in the A-lender space, is that they can actually pick up the phone, contact the credit reviewer, or get a manager involved right away, or go even higher up to get, let's say, because in today's world, there's a lot of exceptions on a file. Right. It's not straightforward nowadays. A lot of people have multiple sources and so forth. So from there, not everything is within policy.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Nowadays, okay. You're seeing people, is it reasonable? Is there supporting documentation for it? Then you got to take it up the chain.
And so when you say exceptions, for those who don't know, you're talking about gaining an exception to the policy for people who need it.
Right.
Okay. So basically, you have direct access to make the case for the exception and push that file to the next level. Absolutely. Okay. So would you say then somebody with, obviously, so from my end of the business, whenever I start working with a new buyer, 9 times out of 10, their initial instinct is to go directly to the private broker, because the private broker has access to multiple lenders and they can run the file and they can shop the rate. Is there any sort of advantage for people who, let's say they're a good client in good financial standing, no recent collections, a great credit rating, they're no debts, nothing like that, they're in good financial shape. Should they just skip that and go directly to the A lender, or?
It all depends.
It all depends.
So it's all about preference and choice, right? Like sometimes a person wants to go into a branch. They want to see someone face to face. You have people nowadays, some of them will just want to go online.
Yeah.
Just go and work with online. Yeah. And some of them don't want to do the legwork. They rather go to one person that can show a bunch of numbers in front of them with rates and terms and go that route. Yeah. However, they don't have the full access. Like, when you go to a broker, not all customers fit a certain lender.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And if I'm saying, hey, I want to go to this lender, but that person can't get that lender.
Right.
Mr. Customer, I can only go to this lender. Here's the lenders that you fit right now. But technically, that's probably not true. Yeah. They're just, like, everyone has a limit, and they're just probably going within their limit, and that's all they're offering. I always say get a second opinion. That's always been my thing. Go to if you're gonna work with a broker, sure, go with the broker. That's your choice. That's okay. Yeah. But I also say go to an A lender direct to see for yourself as well of where you want to go.
I've seen what you've done with files over the years and really pushing it. I've witnessed it. You've pushed it to the top of the ladder on multiple occasions, and you always come through and get the job done, which is fantastic. But I've really seen that process in real time. I've seen you take it up there, and I've seen you get things done, in terms of the exception to the policy and all of that. And it's done in a timely manner as well. So I think that's super advantageous for anybody, considering a pre-approval and a purchase. Have that advisor that you trust, that has access, the right access that you need, and understand exactly where you stand.
Absolutely. Don't go in blind. Understand, if you have your favorite A lender that you bank at, go to them, because everyone has the mortgage, like a mobile mortgage specialist space. Sure. They have them. I always say, go to them first. Get all the details of what you need, and if you feel you can get more, maybe go to a second A lender. Right. And then if you feel outside of that A lending space and you want something better, then you go to that third level. I always say go to the A lending space first, because if you are, as you said, if you're you have great credit, you have good income, you have strong assets to back it, do you really need to go to a broker? You really don't. You can actually go directly into the bank or a credit union, and you can do that.
You're a strong candidate for approval.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I always notice the initial thought process is, oh, let's go to the private guy because they have multiple accesses. But I think, from my experience, I've kind of seen the opposite. And again, I mean, from a real estate or from a realtor perspective, if you're an active real estate agent in the space, working with multiple clients per month, you're going to have your finger on the pulse in terms of which financial institution is being aggressive with, let's say, interest rates, for example, let's say approvals. You'll have your finger on the pulse, and you should be able to guide your clients on which lender to go to, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. You should be able to kind of guide them. And if they do that right off the bat, they'll be saving themselves time, energy, and they'll get the best possible outcome right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like I always say what would I do if I was that? That's the way I do my business.
Right.
What would I do?
Yeah.
And I always been that person to say, hey, if you're that type of client, that's all good, everything's checked off.
Yeah.
Go to that one bank. Go direct to them. If you're not satisfied with that, then you go to a second bank or a credit union.
Right.
And if you're still and you got all that in front of you, then it's all good to go, right? But if you feel like you don't have the time, you want something simple and you want it just one person doing it all for you, then there's that option too.
Makes sense. Yeah, sound advice, man. That's why I always trust you. I appreciate your time. Thank you, bro. All right, bro. So as you can see, there's a lot that goes into a true pre-approval, how it can be effective for you, and why you really need it. As somebody in good financial standing, if you have little to no debt, your credit rating is strong, there's a lot of options out there for you to work directly with an A lender. So something to keep in mind, there's no right or wrong answer with either one of these scenarios. A private broker will do a fantastic job for you if they're well connected, if they have the resources at their disposal, but an A lender will also do a fantastic job, and they can take things one step further on most occasions, again, depending on your financial standing. So once again, I'm Nick Baronian, Personal Real Estate Corporation with BARO Real Estate. If you have any questions about getting a pre-approval and what you need to put yourself in the best possible position to get a home purchased, please feel free to reach out to me directly. You can shoot me an email or give me a call. My phone number is always in the description below, or you can DM me directly and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching episode 1. We'll see you at the next one.